We are at Helium 10's Amazon Seller Conference asking experts, how do you launch Amazon products and rank on page 1 in 2022? Top 3 things you need to do before launching a new product on Amazon. How do you improve Amazon listing conversion rate? What can you try if PPC is not working?
If your PPC is not working, then there's an issue with your offer. There's 2 things you can control when you first launch. It's going to be your content and it's going to be your price. The better your content and the better your offer, then the higher you can charge, the more you can charge. If you lower your price, you're going to find a threshold that you start getting clicks and conversions. That price might be $3. It might not be profitable. It might be break even. Maybe you didn't test the design of your product and people don't love your design as much as something else, right? That would be a product that you quickly sell through and abandon and move on to the next thing. But if you keep testing your content, as your content gets better, you'll be able to raise your price point, because the better your content, the more you can charge. Use those levers.
Influencer marketing is one of the best things that you can do. Depending on how much money you have, you'll want to find an influencer that has maybe a certain amount of followers. If you have a big budget, you can go after influencers that have larger followings. But for me, if you are on a smaller budget, you can find little small bloggers that have 5,000 to 10,000 followers, and you could almost just send them a free product in exchange for a shout out.
Common mistakes or reasons that Amazon sellers fail.
So one of the biggest mistakes that I made was I launched a product. It was actually trademarked the saying on the product. So it was a gender reveal set that said pop to see he or she or something.
On the packaging?
On the balloon. So it was a gender reveal party, and I used their verbiage, and I was selling a lot. And then I got a cease and desist to shut down because I was infringing on their trademark. So all I needed to do was change the verbiage, and it would have been a fantastic product.
Oh, that's too bad.
If you use a short title, you're kind of wasting all of that other real estate that's very valuable for ranking potential. There's data behind this that the majority of shoppers look at the first 5 to 7 words of a title. It checks the box of what it is they're looking for. They look at the main image and then they click in. They're not reading the rest of the titles. Amazon values your rank and the relevancy of a keyword more in the title than they do in the bullets or anywhere else. So you want to be able to be ahead of your competitors with ranking juice, or that we call it, but ranking potential, by establishing more authority and establishing a more relevancy than your competitors. So use that title. But the other part of a title is that a lot of people will put in selling, like they'll sell in the title by putting benefits in there. If they don't put the benefit in the other places we talked about, then that's okay, because that's important. It will help, because people will read the title one more time before they purchase just to make sure it does click that box. But if you check that box somewhere else, you don't need to waste the valuable space in the title. But A/B test it.
First of all, not knowing that just getting on Amazon is not an easy thing to do. Lots of people think that Amazon is a forgiving platform and Amazon is an unforgiving platform.
How naive.
So if you make the mistake of not having all of your documentation in line, meaning like a utility bill or like your bank statements, or like there's mismatches, that's almost a ban for life a lot of times, or just a really hard fix. First time I ever talked to someone, they're like, oh, we're about to start our Amazon account. I was like, hold up. Let's just review all your documentation first.
Low margin products.
What's a good margin generally? I've heard 50%, I've heard 70%, I've heard 15%.
Yeah, 50% is phenomenal, but that's very hard to get nowadays, transparently.
Okay.
What I'd say is depend on price point. So I think if you're under like a $30 price point, you probably want to shoot for a 30% net after advertising. If you're like over that $50 price point, you can get away with like a 20-25% net after pay-per-click.
Is there a place on Amazon for premium priced products, do you think? Do you think that this is the marketplace to do it, or do you think that maybe developments like Buy with Prime are going to move those premium products off of the marketplace?
I do think there is. I don't think they're going to fly off the shelves per se. The way that I look at the Amazon market is it's an impulse buying market. I like to keep my products like under that $150 threshold, and there's definitely a market for that price point. I think that it's important to know that you shouldn't just be focusing on Amazon. It's all about brand building. Even Amazon is promoting brand building a lot nowadays. What comes with that is a lot of like external things, social media, influencers, things along those lines, because pay-per-click advertising is just getting very expensive.
How do you launch Amazon products and rank on page 1 in 2022?
PPC. So I launch a product with a very low price to start, like I do a sale price. I do a very high bid for PPC, and I monitor how many sales I'm getting every day. And then using the Helium 10 CPR number, as long as I get that number of sales, I'll be on page 1 within like 4 or 5 days.
PPC was the best way, I think.
That's a very common answer.
Yeah, with SFBs being taken away. No black hat tactics from us. I think PPC, push single word campaigns.
Amazon, did you hear that? No black hat.
Just PPC, single keyword campaigns, top of search, and just at the end of the day, have a great product that people want to buy when they get to your page and leave a great review. So PPC, but also make sure you have a great product that is going to make the customer want to come back and leave a 5-star review.
So we're almost 100% PPC, and it starts with the foundational product research, keyword research. If you maximize your ranking potential and establish relevancy to Amazon, then all you need to do is run the right PPC campaigns to all of the relative keywords, all the related keywords. You'll be able to get enough actions, so add to carts, clicks, and conversions. You should be able to rank in the top 10 to top 20 for hundreds of keywords within the first week of launch.
Top 3 things you need to do before launching a new product on Amazon.
Do the proper keyword research and validate the product first. I think a lot of people choose the wrong product because they don't look at the keywords that drive sales for those products, understand how many keywords there are, and understand how good the competitors are at already ranking for them. So what we try to do is give you the whole picture, and you can look at the top 15 sellers. You'll know whether you'll be the 3rd or 4th best seller within the first month of launch based on how good the competitors are. Choose your products based on the keywords and the competitors. Then make sure you have great content. Make sure that you have multiple main images ready to go.
For A/B testing.
For A/B testing. And do that in the first week while there's nothing else happening except for you changing that image, because it really gives you clear data on the click-through rate, and you can tell which image is performing the best based on how many clicks you get.
First and most important thing when it comes to launching a product, you got to find a good product. So you got to understand product research. The 2 main key components to product research is you've obviously got to find a product that's in demand, but it does no good finding a product in demand if you can't improve that product. So you need to find a way to differentiate and improve the product. So that's number 1. The second thing is source that product from a good quality manufacturer. So you need to find a manufacturer that can provide a good quality product.
Do you recommend Alibaba?
I do use Alibaba to find my manufacturers. And then the third thing is do not take any shortcuts. You've got to spend money to launch that product.
How do you improve Amazon listing conversion rate?
One of the most important things is to understand that buyers are shopping for their own, benefit. So there is a reason that they want this product, and you need to understand who's buying your product and what is the benefit they're looking for.
Where do you go to understand that customer without any prior knowledge as a new seller in a new category?
When you're doing your initial product research, you should probably go into groups where this avatar lives, right? Like
Reddit?
Could be Reddit, could be Facebook groups. It could be somewhere where those people are passionate, and you can understand what are the problems they're trying to solve. Look at the feedback from reviews in other competitors as well, and then look at the questions people are asking on your competitors. Once you understand what they're trying to solve, make sure it is your second image is the benefit to the buyer. Make sure that top bullet is the benefit to the buyer, and make sure that top of A+ is the benefit to the buyer. Those are the 3 places people see the most.
Not features, benefits.
Think of in terms of benefits to the buyer, because if you don't check that box in their mind of why they're looking for that product, they're going to go to someone else that will.
Well, we'll talk about main image first. So you're dealing with a search engine at the end of the day. So there's a couple different things that you see when a search term is brought up on a search engine results page. It's your main image, and it's about 100 characters of your title. First of all, your main image needs to take as much white space as possible. It does need to be compliant and fill out as much as you can. So that's one tip. Second tip, I would have your main keywords within the 100 characters that are available. On top of that, have your main differentiation in the text at least, so that you can get those initial clicks. And then include lifestyle graphics for sure, because you always want to picture them using your product, because if you don't do that, they don't have that luxury of touching the product with their hands like a retail store.
I would say the best thing you can do is make sure you have amazing graphics, amazing branding, and really keep a close eye on your data.
Are there any product niches that you would avoid or you'd recommend people avoid?
Personally, I would avoid things like supplements and like beauty products, but that's because there's people who do really, really well in those product niches, and like they're working much harder than just like listing something on Amazon. You have to build that whole like outside Amazon brand presence to make those supplements and whatnot.
I see supplements every single time.
That's what everybody says. Everybody hates supplements. Man, they're so good for you.
I think you needed to be in the supplements game a really long time ago to be successful now. Really costly from an inventory standpoint, very competitive to get into nowadays. I personally like to avoid anything that has more liability to it, to be honest with you. I'm a big fan of categories that aren't ungated, that don't require restrictions, like home and kitchen, arts and crafts, things like that are super simple. I also teach in the beginner market, and that's exactly what we tell our students.
I avoid any product that has too few keywords or is oversaturated from large sellers that are already established and ranking well for most of the search volume that drive sales for that product.
What about seasonal products?
I love seasonal products if you can balance them. It takes a little bit more advanced skill with regards to being able to ride those waves. But if you do toys in itself, most things on Amazon are seasonal because Q4 is a big spike for everyone, right? But if you manage it and you have like Valentine's Day, 4th of July, summer, Halloween, now you have multiple spikes throughout the year. It's helping balance
like
the
a
year.
stock portfolio.
I personally do do not like the baby category just because
Oh,
there's-
babies are so sweet
I know.
though.
I'm a new uncle, but there's just too many certificates that require approval. I just personally try to stay away from it. Consumables is something that I personally avoid because I'm not experienced with consumables. Again, there's requirements with that. And then electronics, I don't like just because they break and they can have issues. So those are
Returns?
Returns happen, issues, bad reviews, negative feedback.
If you're looking to scale your business on Amazon, visit incrementumdigital.com. My name is Leron Hirschkorn, CEO and founder of Incrementum Digital. Thanks for watching this video, and click on my face to watch the next video.